Today I'm gonna teach you how to wrap a present perfectly. Okay, so get your present, put it on, roll out the paper, and then put it on the paper, and you need to measure. This wrapping paper is nice because it has a grid on it, but not all wrapping paper is like that, but it's nice to line it up. And then you're just going to measure your wrapping paper so that you have enough paper to wrap it, because everyone has gotten to a point where you have like a little tiny piece of the box showing and it's annoying, but also you don't want to waste too much paper on the end either. So I always go a little bit of an overlap so that I can fold it and make it perfect. So I'm gonna cut right here where my finger is. Let's hope we can get a good glide here. Come on. Ah! Oh well, whatever. I didn't mean to scream like the Grinch. Okay, and then on this side too, so I'm only gonna need probably to about this line. I'm like, you don't need to get out a ruler, just eyeball it. But these little tiny scraps of paper are good if you wrap just to keep, because smaller gifts to wrap, or even like stocking gifts. In my family, we wrap our gifts that we put in the stockings. Lots of people don't do that. So look how much extra paper this is that would have been wasted. And then you can also, like, if you don't have gift tags, you can cut out like this little tiny Santa and make it into a gift tag. Maybe we'll do that. It's good for save this stuff for smaller gifts. And the best way to store it is just to like wrap it back on the roll, because then it's not gonna get all dinged up. And this is just, I don't know, common sense life hack, but maybe I'm teaching you something new today. Okay, so once you've lined it up, just a little bit of tape, and then what I do is I measure it first, and then I usually just kind of fold to make like a nice perfect seam here. I have a rip, but we'll be able to work with that. Pull your paper as tight as you can. And then I like to use more than one piece of tape just to hold it in place so you don't get any gapping. I'm gonna show two different methods for the wrapping of the ends of the present. Okay, so start by folding down the top piece of paper and then secure it down with a piece of tape. Now, since we've measured properly here on this end, we're going to be able to line this up perfectly and just put it on with another piece of tape and then fold the corners in so that they line up. So hold tight here, and see, I've got the middle parts done. Now we're just gonna fold the corners in. We don't even have to worry about folding them like the edges into the corners, because I think it still looks pretty this way. And secure it with one piece of tape. Make sure you wipe down your tape so that there's no air bubbles in it and your presents don't pop open so people can peek at them. And this is how nice it looks when you measure properly. So on this end, I have a pinch extra wrapping paper, which is 99% of the time this is actually what happens, right? So we're gonna fold down the top piece and take a piece of tape, secure it down to, oops, hold on, I just got a little wrinkle, sorry about that. Nobody's perfect, but you get it as best as you can. Now, take the edges and fold them in nice and tight, okay? And then the piece of paper that is on the bottom, make a crease here. Need a piece of tape to hold this in place. And we're gonna do that on the other side. Fold it in, but it's really important that you make this crease at the bottom. It's gonna make everything line up and look pretty. Look how nice and sharp my corners are too. Piece of tape. See, it's sticking there without even a piece of tape. Okay, now, what I like to do here is fold this edge in just so that it looks nice and seamless. One thing that makes a really nice present too is when you make sure that all of your seams are nice and sharply pressed down. I've decided to go with the burlap ribbon. This is kind of like a vintage Santa. Okay, lay out your ribbon and then put the top side of the present down. And then just measure to make sure that you have equal distance on both sides. And then we're just gonna take it and cross it in the back, okay? Pull it tight. You could do this on the top too, like it looks nice if you put a bow, like this still looks nice, I think, if you would put a bow there too. Just different options to do it because I wanna add something. So we're just gonna tuck it under there and I'm gonna tape it. Tuck it under there on both sides. I might have to trim a little bit. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna have to trim anything. So once I put a ribbon on there, it's gonna look gorgeous. We're going to make a very simple bow here for the package. So all you need to do is make a loop and then, oops, we're just going to pull through. I forget what I'm doing. Usually I'm 4 Baileys in when I do this and it's not, I don't have to think about it. Okay, one, I'm gonna make a loop. And then I'm gonna make another loop because I'm tying a bow. And it's like through the rabbit hole, right? Just like you're teaching a kid how to tie their shoes, or in this case, a 40-year-old woman. Okay, pull out extra excess because we can always pull less. I want this to be tight, so a little bit less. And I want to pull a little bit more on this end. Okay, that's looking good. Now we need to tighten this back piece, which is just going to pull this and this. Okay, I want this part to be flipped over like that. And then we're gonna secure it on here and I'm gonna show you how to cut the ribbon so that it looks pretty. So how the fancy places do those pretty cuts for the ribbon, and this also helps so that your ribbon doesn't fray. Take the ribbon and bend it in half, and then you just snip it, and ta-da! See how pretty that looks? So fold it in half, the ribbon completely in half, line it up so that the cuts are even, and then you're cutting diagonally towards the bow, okay? So I balled up some tape here to stick the ribbon onto the present. And then I actually think what I want to do is layer this beautiful little red velvet ribbon that was pre-made that I have saved from last year. I think that's gonna look so pretty. And that is how you simply okay, push, just give it a little stick, make sure that's on. I like to give it a shake, make sure it sticks. And that's how you wrap a perfectly realistic present.